You're an aspiring author. You want to write books or a book. You've had a book on your mind for some time now. I am the speakologist and I help people tell their story, write their book and build their brand. Primarily women who have stories. We all have stories to tell. But maybe you're at a time in your life where you're coming into or have already become an empty nester. Why that season? It's a time when a woman is really wanting to evaluate herself. Who am I now? What are my roles now? What do I do now as kids are going off and becoming more independent? And you may not be a person with a child. You may not be an empty nester, but you're at that season in your life when you are looking for something else. You want something else to do. Perhaps you're going to step away from the corporate life and step it down, not because you don't like the work or even the income that goes with that, but the intensity and that level of work where you are just sold out, you are ready to step away from. In writing your book, in becoming a published author, you can use your book as leverage, as a guide with your expertise to help others. And so there's some strategies in place that are going to help you. And I work with people who are thinking about, ready to make that step into becoming a published author. What does that involve? How long does that take? What do I have to do? Etc. I don't know. I've never written before. Can I write? I don't know. That's what I'm here for, to tell you about. So there are some principles I want to discuss with you. I'm going to discuss one of those principles on this recording and check back for the others. 7 principles for aspiring authors. And principle number 1 is that uncertainty equals opportunity. Uncertainty equals opportunity. I know, you heard that right. When there is uncertainty, it does create an opportunity for you to do something different. We want predictability, but the truth of the matter is we don't have that. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy or the market or the job situation or your work and who's getting laid off next week, even if you're in a very secure position. Uncertainty gives you the opportunity to try and do and be something different. Don't let that shake you. You don't know how to write a book. You've never written one before. You've never structured one before. Let's embrace that. We can embrace that and use that for our good and use that for our benefit rather than being afraid and running away. What if, what if, what if? Well, there's always going to be what ifs. Let's not create problems we don't have. Let's be in this moment and decide, you know what? I don't know how long it's going to take me to write this. I've never written before. I don't know anything about designs for covers and how many pages do all of those things. Those are great questions. Those are questions, quality questions that we can ask and get the information, because all of that information is attainable. Embrace the uncertainty. I know, embrace the uncertainty. We have been encouraged. We have been kind of following along with society in feeling that we should be fearful and afraid for the things we don't know. The truth of the matter is you don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. We can't be fretting and worrying about things of that nature. Let's embrace the uncertainty as a gateway into new opportunities. Embrace the uncertainty as a gateway into new opportunities. What could it be? What could it look like? Let's seek some solutions. Let's find out what is the thing that makes you most uncomfortable about this whole situation, about this possibility. Let's address the questions you have about writing, one step at a time, rather than trying to figure out the last page of the book and the summary, and we haven't even written the first page. What is it about? What do you want to write about? What is the story on your heart? Is it your personal story? Is it something you've gone through? Is it a trauma? And traumas can be anything. It can be emotional, it can be physical, it could be a lot of things. It could be economical. It's a very, very broad term, and it can be whatever it is. It's your experience. It's not the worst thing ever because maybe somebody else has had something worse. That's not the point. The point is it's your story, the way you saw it, the way you experienced it, and that's all that matters. It's your story. What is it you have in that story that can help somebody else? There's lots of things that we have that we've endured, many of us, or gone through experience that we can share with somebody else, whether that was moving from one country to another, what steps to take with the immigration process. And yes, I'm sure that does change a lot here and there, but there's some basic things that still need to be. What do you need to carry with you? How do you do a transatlantic move? How do you step down from a corporate position into something that's a level that maybe a little less intense? What things do you need to have in place in your life in terms of insurance and health and investments, all of those kind of things? I say all of that because these are things that some of you listeners have experience in and could write a guide on. You could write a guide on this and help others. These are ways that we are going to use the unknown, the uncertainty, to bring about opportunity. When a person gets laid off, there's uncertainty and there's a shock and you don't have your job. But it also creates an opportunity. And sometimes people land in a position that was even more rewarding, not necessarily pay-wise, or it could be, but the conditions are better. The work hours are better. You have more flexibility in your life. At the very beginning, I started talking about empty nesters. When the house becomes empty and you're not picking up and dropping off children and making meals and taking people to games, etc., you now have that opportunity, that flexibility of time to do other things. What are you going to do for yourself? What is the plan? Maybe your uncertainty is, what is the next chapter of your life or the chapter you're in? What is that chapter? Maybe you're launching children this summer, fall into the schools and across the country or abroad or whatever. What opportunity can you now create for yourself? Yes, you're dealing with dropping them off, and maybe it's the last child, or maybe it's the only child, and you're feeling sad and lonely and not quite knowing what you're going to do. You might be feeling a little upside down and turned around because for the last 18 plus years, depending on how many children you had at home, you may be longer if you've just launched a second or third, and the third one's 18, you could have been doing this for 20 years already. So for 20 years, you have been living your life a certain way, raising children, taking them off to places, vacations, helping with homework and all of those things. And you're not required for any of those things anymore. So now you need to find your footing. Maybe you're already an entrepreneur and coming into empty nesting. Again, I use that time because it is a time in a woman's life when she has a lot of uncertainty about how she's going to go forward. Writing that book, even though you're uncertain about what it's going to be about, sit with yourself for a while because you may have more than one book. These can be short reads, by the way, and can be a help and a guide to others in your area of expertise. And somebody is waiting to get your help, your very specific help to the thing that you do, maybe in your workplace or maybe in a life experience situation that can help somebody else. There are people doing very ordinary things every day. Let's look at the characters on TV. You've got people like Martha Stewart who's showing you how to organize things around your home. That's something she's helping people with. She became a household name because people wanted to know how to do those things, dress the table for the parties. So it doesn't have to be high tech. It doesn't have to be law. It doesn't have to be cinematography. It could be things that the every average woman wants to hear about. What's the other gal that started out on Oprah's show? Can't think of her name. It's not coming to my mind. And what was she doing? She was just cooking, making meals, showing people how to make things, and became a household name. People sat and watched her cook. The point being, what is it that you have right now? Nothing you have to create or new or study. What do you have right now that you can help somebody else with? Bookkeeping, college hunting, the best ways to go about it, the application process, the essay writing. Is there a way to streamline that you know about? What can you share with others? When I say write your story, tell your story, write your book can be a guide. Actually, I recommend you do that to help somebody else to do the things that you've mastered doing, and now you can help somebody else. Will you do it? Remember, uncertainty can create opportunity. Are you ready to help others know what you know? Are you ready to do that? Keep watching here. There'll be other strategies in this series because it's called 7 Success Principles. 7 Success Principles for Aspiring Authors. 7 Success Principles for Aspiring Authors. Are you ready? There's so much more.